So the Knock On KCLR and Scoreline.ie's weekly rugby podcast might have a bit of editing to do there at the start, but sure, however. Lads, how's it going? With two years were away at the Ireland match last week over in Marseille. I don't know if you've ran into each other, but a great old win for Ireland nonetheless. And it's, I wouldn't say unexpected against France, but not that scoreline, certainly.
I'd say I ran into a lot of people in Marseille last weekend. More so to the fact that I was probably so unsteady on my feet for 3 days over there. But it was a cracking weekend. Some city made all the better by an absolute unbelievable win. And an atmosphere like I've never been in before for a rugby match. Don't know how you found it, Tom, but the French brought an unbelievable atmosphere for 65, 70 minutes. And then they realised they were goosed. And it kind of died down, but the Irish took over then, you know, and it was just incredible.
Good so far, right? Yeah, we had our own Paddy Brown was over there as well, so it was cracking. We had a chat to him here before we went on the podcast. He was getting himself, I suppose, warmed up for the occasion as well, but great nonetheless. Lads, it was a busy weekend and a very important weekend as well. Locally, the Towns Cup kicked off, of course, their own cup competition, which we all love and look forward to coming around every year. Tullow, of course, the weekend off. The weekend off, I think, this weekend as well. So Paddy's not joining us this week, but we will catch up with him nonetheless. But you were in cup action. Start with you, James, because we haven't spoken to you in a couple of weeks. You had a home match there against Clondalkin and everything went pretty well.
Everything went according to plan. I suppose in context of the draw, we probably realistically had one of the handier draws for first round game. No disrespect to Clondalkin, but they're having a tough season. And for Clondalkin, they can take it one of two ways. They can take it that they're having a tough season, or they can take it that they're bringing on new players, which I think is probably what they're doing. But they still have a lot of older guys. They still have a lot of older guys in their team there. But for us, yeah, we kind of had the luxury of resting one or two guys for last week. Joe Manuel, he wasn't happy about it that he wasn't in the squad, but Joe needs to be on full fitness for what's coming at us, the juggernaut that's coming at us this weekend. But we still went in fairly well loaded, and we're starting to get everybody back. You know, it's no secret at this point that Jake MacDonald has left for a year at minimum to go to Australia travelling. And look, you can't give out to a chap for doing that. So irrespective of that, we still started well. Brian Howe came back in after a number of games out. Ben Devlin was at hooker. Rob Kelly, Wes Carter, and Andrew Warner in the second row. Andrew Warner is playing so well; he's undroppable at the moment. When you see Jay Colbeck sitting on the bench in an excellence under 20s, and Andrew Warner starting ahead of him, it says a lot, really. You know, it's up to Jake to get the jersey back now off Andrew or Wes. So we'll see how that goes. The back row, because Joe Manuel was rested, saw Johnny Young coming in. Johnny was at number 6 and had a very strong game by all accounts. Gary Dunn was at 7, and looked great to see Doc back for his kind of first game back of 2024. He's been out with a fairly bad dose of flu, chest infections and stuff like that. So he's been more or less kind of benching himself for the last while. So it was good for Doc to get that kind of 80 minutes under his belt coming into a really important part of the season. Missing Jake, kind of saw a little bit of a reshuffle at half back. Ian Buckley, local chap here, has been playing in the UK for the last number of years, was in at 9. Stephen Atkinson then just moved out one place to 10. Ned Devlin and Podge Mann were on the wings, so kind of again in a reshuffle has seen Hugh Corkery move into 12 and Brian MacDonald come up from the seconds, who he's been playing for the last couple of seasons, into 13, which saw Podge Mann moving out to the wing, or moving back to the wing, and then Tristan Leffers was full back. We kind of went loaded on the bench with forwards, with Donald Keeley, Tyke Butler, Martin Lahey, Jake Colbeck and Lyndon Brannigan, Lyndon being the only back that we had on the bench. But look, it was really one-way traffic from the get-go. There was the lads just tore into them. It was kind of, we had chances early on, but we kind of didn't take them. We found our feet, and I think we went in about nearly 30 points in half time, finishing up 60 points to 5. And Podge Mann ran in 3 tries. Steve Atkinson, Wes Carter, Dave O'Connor, Tristan Leffers, Gary Dunn and Hugh Corkery all ran in a try each. Hugh knocked over 1 penalty and 6 conversions. So I think any day in J1 rugby that you clock up at 60 points on the board is a good day out. But look, in fairness to our lads, they'll take the win. They expected to win a home draw like that. But, you know, bigger fish to fry this week in context of what's going to happen in the league. You know, I mean, the league is, for us this year, is first and foremost the priority, and an absolute belter all going well coming to Kilkenny tomorrow. Athy coming down as leader, riding the crest of a wave this season. You know, they're playing a good brand of rugby, a nice structured brand of rugby, and we are going to have to step up to them tomorrow, you know.
Absolutely. You couldn't get bigger than Athy anyway, like you said.
Just like, I suppose, back to last week's game, like, it was a very important game for us that kind of Brian Howe got a game under his belt before Athy, that we could rest Conan Dunn as well to get Brian some game time. That Wes Carter could get back in there. Wes has kind of been in and out this season just through commitments with school, with family and whatnot. So it's been great to see Wes back in there, to get Doc a game under his belt as well, to give Brian MacDonald another game at 13. So there's probably, I'd say there's been some difficult decisions that were made yesterday now after last Sunday's performance from lads. There was some difficult decisions made as to what the 20 is going to be that's going to be tugging out tomorrow. Because there's going to be a few guys left out who put their hands up last week to be there.
Absolutely. Yeah, so that's tomorrow, Saturday, James. It's obviously earlier because of the Ireland match, I presume, on Sunday.
Yeah, it is. It's a refix. It's a reshuffle fixture from the last time. I think your game went ahead, Tom. Did it? No,
we are
all fixture tomorrow. Yeah, no, it's broad. It's a it's the rearrangement. The weather was bad a few weeks ago. We would have probably preferred it to be played when it was meant to be played, because we would have had Jake for it. But then the other flip side of that is there's other guys that you wouldn't have had. But yeah, I think it's 1:30 and 3 o'clock kickoffs, I think.
Yeah, it's the summertime. Yeah, back to summertime one. So,
but it's more than a J1 league that's at stake tomorrow as well. You know, the seconds league is at stake. I think there's 2 points between us and Athy in the league in the seconds as well. 2 or 3 points. So, you know, winning that tomorrow will go in our favour. And if your seconds win, Tom, it'll probably bring you back into the mix as well, I think, would it?
No, our seconds are out.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, our seconds are out.
It's going to be. It's been a long time. I'd say it's 20 years since both first and seconds of Kilkenny were in the mix. You know, and a win for the first tomorrow will blow the league wide open. I think I'd say Kildare and particularly Carlow will be looking at it tomorrow, just going for us to do a job. Sorry, Tom, but we're not too worried about you. We're worried about ourselves as well. But you know, we're absolutely focused. We didn't play well in Athy the last day we were up there. We played very poorly, in fact, and made some very silly mistakes. One of the Willie Seal, uncharacteristically, he missed the tackle and let a guy in. And the harsh part for Willie is he hasn't played first rugby since then, you know, and he's kind of been in on the seconds and hasn't been able to get his way back into the first. So, look, we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you happy with the second round draw for the Towns Cup, James?
I think you'd have to be happy with it. But North Kildare is never an easy place to go. They'll always give it to you. I always found playing against North Kildare, you'll always come out of it knowing you're in a game. You know, they were always tough. They always kind of had a bit of a streak, and the dog was going mad here at the cat outside. They always had a bit of a streak, and I don't mean a dirty streak. They always just had a tough streak in them, you know. So it's going to be a tough game. I think they're played in 2 weeks' time. Tom, is it, or next weekend?
Paddy's Day.
Paddy's Day, is that the 17th of March, right?
Yeah, it's really long, but it's given a break. I think the whole idea is we've 2 league games, and then they're actually giving us a break. Otherwise, we would have had 6 games in a row, 5 or 6. Some teams could have 6 games in a row. So I think they're giving a break. Plus, they haven't. I don't know. The Seconds League Cup hasn't been drawn yet, so I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, so Kildare, look, it'll be a good place to go. I mean, there's no doubt about it what the draw at around is. Like, you're going to have one of the favourites, either Athy or the holding champions going out in the next round of the cup, and that, in my mind, could blow the whole Towns Cup open again. It's all about the draw in the cup, but I think there was probably a lot of happy clubs around the province when they saw Athy and Tullow drawn against each other.
No, we were in the bar when that happened, and I don't think John Tracy and Athy was very kind of had to sit down when that one came out.
Yeah,
that's 2 years in a row. That's 2 years in a row.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But in fairness to Tullow, lads, like, you'd have to say they're the Division 1 team in the cup of the Provincial Towns Cup teams that are riding highest. Not putting pressure on them, but I know Carlow, Kilkenny, Athy, Ashbourne, and all those other clubs will be gunning for them as well. So, but look, in the context of ourselves, we're happy with the draw. From where I'm sitting, I'm happy with the draw. I don't know what the opinion of some of the players or some of the coaching setup is, but you'd have to be happy with it. You've come up against a team from a lower division and a team who we have a good record against. But the other side is you're going an hour and 3/4 up to Kilcock, so they're not going to give it to us easy either.
Yeah, absolutely. James, any other news from the club?
Yeah, the ladies got back to winning ways. They've had to be, the girls, the women have had a tough time of it for the last while. The results haven't been going their way, but they got back there to beat Tala 27 points to 10. So it's great for them to get back, just to get that win under the belt for a bit of morale, a bit of spirit. They need it. But in fairness to the girls, despite the results going against them, they've stayed together. They're staying training. They're sticking with their process. They're doing what they're doing. I think for the girls, nearly the camaraderie and the friendship is very strong in that team, and they strike me as a very united bunch of players. Where even though the results was going against them, they stood there. They're sticking to their guns, and they've a good coaching set up there. Joe Moynihan and Victor and Paddy, so they're just all helping out. But look, it was good to get them back to winning ways, and you'd like to think that a lot of young girls came through to that team, as I say that. So you'd like to think that they can just be blooded through now, and for next year that they'll find a little bit more more consistency in their performance and kind of start getting those results. But look, it was good from that front. Underage teams are going reasonably well as well. Just the Spirit of Rugby last week, there was a lot of awards given out for the Spirit of Rugby across the club, which is really a great incentive. It's and it's happening week after week, where various different players within different teams are just given a little award or a little token for good sportsmanship, or one of the young fellas who got it the weekend. I think it was a chap off the under-15s. They got a good beating, but this young guy just stayed coming back the whole time and putting his hand up, and he didn't moan or whinge about anything, and he got it. So look, we'll move on. But look, that's kind of the update from Kilkenny Rugby Club at the moment.
Good stuff. Tom, you've a couple of notes there, do you, from Tullow, before we move on to Carlow. If you want to pull them up there. Tullow, of course, got a bye in the Towns Cup last weekend.
But he is representing County Carlow, so Tullow is County Carlow, isn't it?
You're just looking for trouble now. You're absolutely looking for trouble there now.
That's it. And they've a couple of weeks off, so they do now. So, being the champions, they got a bye, of course, as well. A couple of other teams too. So, Tullow will be around to get back out on the pitch the next couple of weeks, of course, as well. A couple of bits and pieces going on there in the club. Any joy, Tom?
Oh, I have it here. Yeah, I'm waiting on you.
Oh, work away. I'll give you the nod.
I'll represent Tullow now and Paddy Brown on this one. So,
Thanks,
just
Paddy.
put in a couple of notes. I also thought their youths are flying out, doing very well at the moment. They're 13, 14, and 15s had big wins in the cup. They're on the combined under 14 Rhinos. Had a very good win over New Ross in the cup and in the league. The 30-0 win over them in the league. The under-18 Rhinos had a loss to CDS. That's Coolmine, De La Salle, Sea Point, and St Mary's. Good side actually. Good side combined, well drilled, but they were well beaten in Tullow. I think the key point for Tullow at the moment is their women's had a really tight win over Blackrock. It was I think 17-15. They're top of the league. They're 8 points. I think they're 8 points ahead. I know if they're going to Mullingar in the next round, their next league game, their last league game is against Mullingar. If they beat Mullingar, they'll win the league. They'll win the Ladies Division 1. If they lose that, the only way they can be caught is Barnhall, MUM Barnhall women's. They're actually just behind them in points, but they have 2 games, as in they've 1 game in hand. So that's the only way that Tullow can be catch if they lose to Mullingar and Barnhall lose either of their games. But at the moment, it looks like Tullow are in the driving seat. So it's up to themselves. Wish the ladies the best. I know something else. There's a couple of them come over to the club on a regular basis. We see them. They're going out with one of the lads, and I have to say, in fairness, they always come over and support it and support the lads when they're in the club. And so I just want to wish them the best of luck in their next game, because they seem to be on the crest of a wave now at the moment. I think that's all from Tullow. They're off.
That's it, Tom. Keep a nice score for them lads.
Well, I can't be promoting them too much. Like they're doing very well. The neighbours are doing.
Stephen, you disappeared for a minute.
Oh, I know, yeah. Technology. That's grand, Tom. Thanks for doing that for us. Yourselves, Tom, how are you getting on? You had a good win over Boyne last weekend. You were home as well in the Towns Cup. Can you hear me there, Tom?
Can't hear you, Tom. I'm listening. Tom Crotty is talking, but he can't be heard.
Mute himself.
Loads here as well. He's into it. You're on mute, Tom. No, you're not.
He can't hear us either, James.
He's gesticulating.
The hands are out, yeah.
Hands are out. He's going.
For anyone listening to the podcast, we've lost Tom. Tom is not aware that we can't hear him. But the arms are going 90 there anyway. But they were in action last weekend against Boyne to win in their first round of the Towns Cup. They were home as well. I don't know, how do we get a message to him, James, when he's in full flow?
I actually don't know. He's starting to look confused now, or is he still talking on anyway?
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? 1 second, it's going to... Now, Tom Crotty, we're after getting the gremlins fixed there with microphones and everything, typical with a live podcast. But we were saying to you there, you had a good win over Boyne, your first round of the Towns Cup as well. You must be happy.
Absolutely. Now to go back over everything I said, so I got to remember. No, we had look, as I was saying, it's we're really, really nervous. Boyne, I know we got 2 results over them already this season, but like the results they don't really show. They have a couple of class players, and they're just not getting results. You know, they hadn't been getting results. When you from a lead point, they were going to just throw everything at it, throw the kitchen sink at us, and look, there was a real air of nervousness around the club, because I suppose, look, we're under pressure. It was to have your first round in Carlow. It's the 150th year, move the final there, and it was all talk. You know, just from young players, it's kind of overwhelmed them a little bit. So we kicked off against a really, really strong wind. We had some of the play, right, and then there was so many just little errors. Then Boyne got in for a try and got the conversion, and it took us a while just to get going. Our line out struggled. just making silly mistakes in different areas of the field, and just found it hard to get up there, because every time we got up, if we made an error, Boyne kicked it back, and I mean, we lost serious ground every time they kicked the ball. We had made a couple of changes on the back. Ben Crotty went in full back this time. We gave Richie a break completely from the panel on this one. It was just to kind of shake things up, and Richie needed a rest because he's been playing phenomenally well, and it's going to be a long campaign. And we just said, look, we're going to change slightly for this. So we managed to get back up the field, and then it was just got a good lot of really nice interplay, and worked the ball from left to right, and we scored in the corner. Ben went to take a conversion, but didn't go in. Like, the wind just caught it. Not a hope in hell of getting near the post. It actually went wide and short as well. So we came back down, and they got finished off at half time, and it was 7-5. Turning. Now, we did believe, look, the wind. There was a massive wind there. So second half, then we just started going back to our setup and playing the correct areas of the field. From kicks down, our lineouts improved. Our lineouts improved a bit, and we got a nice breakdown down the wing, and then again lovely interplay, and Evan Gordon went over, or Owen Edgehill went on a break. Mac made a break. Owen Edgehill stayed on his shoulder, and there was a little offload, and Owen scored a lovely try, which Ben converted. So it was 12-7 at that stage. Then they got the ball and ended up back up there, and they got a penalty. So we got to stick away a silly penalty right in front of the post, and they got that. So it was 12-10. So things were still kind of edgy. But the lads, in fairness to them, like, our bench made an awful difference. It's like we had a really, really strong bench, and we had Scott Neal came off, Conor Tracy. As I say, Owen Edgehill had come on, and Conor Tracy was outstanding. Just absolutely carried phenomenal ball. Really carried phenomenal ball. Scott just putting in the tackles as normal. He took over throwing as well, and did very well. But we got down again. Again, lovely interplay. But Brax just offload from offload, and Tom Atkinson went over, and Tom Atkinson went over again. Ben got the conversion. Again, just worked really hard around the field. Like Dave Mack in the centre had an outstanding game. Again, just carried really well. We did the simple thing. Noah Cope, the young scrum half, like Noah started off the year like a really tough game against Athy, being thrown in the deep end, but it's just improved week in, week out. Like, for a young guy, he's still in school doing his leaving cert, and he's having a phenomenal season. For a kid, it's just really, really, really well. And we played basically back in their half for the rest of the game. Then we got a lovely line out on the left hand side. Young Tom Atkinson again. He's only a young kid. He's 20 years of age. Came out of Kilkenny College. His father played in the club. Soared up, caught the ball down. We worked hard, and Liam Slater come on as out half at that stage. Dan went in scrum half. Couple of nice balls. Ball went from left to right, and Dan gave his brother Ben a lovely pass, and Ben went in under the post to put the icing on the cake. As Brendan Hennessy was telling me afterwards, because it was live on Casey Law, and he'd been waiting for a long time to say that Crotty put the icing on the cake for the tries. he got his wish. He was all delighted. I had to go back and listen to it.
Is that one for years, Tom? I'd say.
Oh, well, he said that he said Ammon put the icing on the cake in the football during on the day before, so he was really excited that this was great. Look, we played really, really well in the second half. It was a tough, very, very tough game. Like the result doesn't show how tough it was, and the crowd themselves, like everyone around the pitch, kind of the supporters that come up, congratulations to the lads after they really got stuck in after being kind of so edgy at the start. They had a phenomenal performance right through for like 1 to 20 were just outstanding, absolutely outstanding. I can't there was nobody didn't put their neck on the line. It was an outstanding performance from the lads, and look, well deserved. They've been working so hard at training, and there's guys slotting in, young players coming in, and they're just putting their hands up. James said the same. You after getting players up, a couple of lads from the seconds that come up and had great. You're probably going to struggle with selection for this weekend, because of and that's what club rugby is about. It's about you bringing players through, and when you have lads there and they're putting their hands up, it's just phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal to have that in the club,
But actually, Tom, just on that front, and we had a good chat about it in France last weekend. The 20 players in the squads, I actually don't think it's fair. It should be more. It should be 21, 22. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's just, it doesn't give enough flexibility. You're trying to carry a full front row on the bench, and then that's only leaving you with two options behind that. Or tough.
Yeah, because you're going either with a 3-2 split or a 4-1 split as in forwards and backs, and then you've one back, and you could have a young back there, someone just really putting the effort in, and you can't give them that opportunity even to be there. Even if they play half a seconds game and come down and get on the bench, it's just to be there. And if they get a chance to come on, you take the risk and you put them on. But like we've always said, it really should be 21 or 26, even if it's brought up to 21.
I think so.
To give teams that option. Not every team will have players that that are able to slot in, but the majority of teams will. And players need an opportunity to learn.
Yeah, I agree with you. That was one of the big things that we were saying on it. It's not even through the injuries or anything like that. It's actually through giving you that little chance just to get another guy up from the seconds, to give him 5 minutes at the end if you're winning, or when he's called upon that can go in and do a job. I think there might be a little bit more grey matter needed in the laws to facilitate something like that.
Well, it does it makes a difference, because you can bring a seconds player off the pitch. Like you can play half a game or a full game. You can play a full game, and come down and sub, and just even if he only gets 10 minutes or 15 minutes at the end of the game, he's getting a cap and he's getting to know the lads.
Yeah.
And then you're putting more of a link between the J1s and your J2s.
Yeah.
You're getting more of a bond if the more lads that you're getting up there. They get to know everyone. Everyone starts to get to know each other more and know how each other play. So, it was from our point of view. As I said, we were delighted with the win. It was like a monkey off our back, because the pressure kind of even having the Casey Law. We didn't even tell him Casey Law were coming. We didn't know till late. But even to see
Carlow, Brendan Hennessy, his time, he'll be there.
Yeah,
in fairness to him now, and
he had Mick Quinn with him as well, which was great crack. I listened. I actually went back and listened to it. Mick was. I just compliment Mick Quinn on not only his commentary. His commentary is very good with Brendan. He's such an old hat at it. But after the game, he went out and spoke to a couple of the younger players. Look for them. He went out and chatted to Noah, the young scrum half, and had a nice little chat with him. He chatted to my two lads. It was just lovely to see, and I think that's the spirit of rugby that needs. That's there. A lot of lads would come and just do their bit and feck off. But he didn't. He spent time and chatted to everyone. He's a great character. But I just thought it was lovely to see him chatting to young players. And I'd say some of the players wouldn't have a clue who he was. But it doesn't matter. Like, you have someone there, like we would know Mick Quinn, like international, like it's international and a good career with Lansdowne as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a lovely day. But that's all done and dusted now. We have the round 2 drawn. We got Portlaoise at home.
I have to say, I was so surprised to see Portlaoise win, because they're having a horrible season as well in the league, aren't they?
Yeah, but that's cup rugby is cup rugby, and we won't take them lightly either. It's like, you know, it's at our detriment. Like, we went out last season, and everyone was going over. You know, we were playing your ass, and you're playing your ass at home, so that's a given. Blah 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 blah. Jason, your ass stuck it to us.
They did.
We struggled. We struggled for a while to cope with them. You know, so you can get banana skins, and teams lose. Like Longford lost to Port Arlington, you wouldn't have said that. And that was up in Port Arlington or up in Longford. So like it's cup rugby, and we are like and Towns Cup is just so special. But I mean, it's just you don't know what's going. You really don't know what's going to happen. But as I said, we have Portlaoise. We'll take it as it comes. It's we're delighted with the home draw. I have to thank Mr. Dan Carberry. I will then pull out the Carlow first one out of the hat. Pull Carlow out. So I have to say big thanks to Dan for a little bit of luck and getting to the home venue. Look, we'll move on from that. We have the league this week. More important, we have to play Longford. Longford at home. Not looking forward to that either, because Longford are struggling there at the bottom of the division. You know, it's like a wounded animal. You always have to beware. They gave us a good game up there. You know, they're a team that cause you trouble. They always cause you trouble.
Yeah.
You know, so like we'll have the greatest respect for them. Couple of changes coming into the weekend, but you know, trying to give lads a run and trying to give lads a rest. It's going to be, you know, hopefully a longer season, but it's going to be long enough with the couple of league games that are left. So we'll be wary of them. You know, they're packed. They have a strong pack. They're not too bad in the back, so they can, you know, the wingers. There's a couple of wingers there with a bit of pace on them. If they get the ball, they like to get the ball wide. They actually got the ball wide the last time we were up and caused us trouble.
They gave us a very good game up there. Like, I mean, it took a wonder score from Donald Keeley to go 3/4 of the length of the pitch just to get us breathing space from them, and at that, we let them in at the tail end of the game to get a bonus point, I think, if I recall correctly. You know, so
yeah. But that's what Longford do.
It's fine things.
It's simply down to the fact that they go up there. We thought, you know, we got in 3 tries. I think they got 2 tries, and not a hope are we ever going to get that bonus point win.
Yeah,
you know, and we tried, but that's what Longford can do. You know, they play a tough brand of rugby to come out, and they hit hard and they defend well, and like we couldn't.
There's Johnny Tobin trying to get back in.
Yeah. Dog back. We have a few mad dogs in the house at the moment. But look, that's what we have. We have that ahead of us. Look, the league is there. Will be all eyes though will be on Kilkenny. You know, that's going to be a key point in the league.
I agree with you, Tom. Like it's pivotal down. It's pivotal in Fookstown tomorrow. I'm not going to say anything about it, but I'm just going to sit back and see what happens tomorrow, and next week I might gloat. But irrespective if we win tomorrow, it makes Kilkenny, Carlow and Oak Park an absolute incredible. When I say that, it makes it a seriously important league game, that match between ourselves and yourselves, Tom.
And just we have to get through Dundalk and Longford first.
You know, but look, let's call a spade. Like both Dundalk and Longford were both knocked out of the cup now. You know, they have very little left to play for. You know, I mean, I'm not going to dismiss them, but I think the three teams of the triangle now, the four teams, I should say, of that kind of area, Kildare, Athy, ourselves, and yourselves, are probably the teams that are thereabouts. I know what you're saying, but a team of year quality should be putting those to the knife. You know.
Well, we hope so. Because it's higher 2 points ahead of all three teams are on the same point.
That's true.
It's down to points difference. A higher 2 points ahead at the moment, and then the rest of us are all on the same. The Kildare, ourselves, and Kilkenny all on the same points.
You know,
so
like you have to say to Athy, like they're a very, very good rugby team. Like I mean, I watched them very closely because I had heard so much talk about them for the last 18 months. I watched them very closely the day we played them in Athy, and one thing that I would really say about them is to have their balance and their game plan really well. They know when their forwards have done enough to give it to their backs. They know when their backs have done enough to give it back to their forwards and their backs reset. I really liked the brand of rugby that Athy played that day. I know we weren't on tune that day. We were up in Athy, but irrespective, on that day, the better team won. I would like to think that if we could just get a few more things right, that we'd be able to make more of a game of it. Will I say we'll win? If I knew we were going to win, I'd do the lotto tonight as well if I could predict the future. But you're right, Tom. It's going to be in context of the chasing pack, ourselves, yourselves, and Kildare. It's going to be a very, very, very important fixture, not only for us but for the other two teams who are in the mix as well. You know, Athy are coming down from what I believe missing Kieran Fennessy, who is quite possibly the best player in the league, or one of the best backs in the league anyway. There's probably a few others there that be putting their hands up as well. It'd be a big loss, but you know, I think the boy that replaced him he's a young fella whose name I can't remember, but he's as tough as nails as well. He's a good try scorer. He hits bloody hard as well. So, you know, they'll have young Harris, they'll have Miller there. You know, it's going to be an intriguing game tomorrow. And look, may the best team win. I hope it's us. And I hope you lose then, Tom, and Kildare lose, and then we're on the pig's back, you know. After blowing you up a minute ago, but no, seriously, it's going to be if we can get a result tomorrow, it's going to be a very, very, very interesting run into the league.
They're very rose tinted glasses you're wearing today.
I like the
Hey, we're going to get back and finish off this section before we ramble anymore about them. I like, as I said, that's the end. Our seconds play Longford at 1:30. We're trying to build to get a decent team together for a cup. I'm afraid our league aspirations, we had a couple of mistakes earlier in the season, probably because I said we have such a large panel. We've been rotating players and probably haven't had a settled team for, you know, that's developed enough to win some of the games that we should have won. But they're a fantastic bunch, really fantastic bunch of young lads, and some of the older heads there too were probably missing for some of the games, and the young lads probably need a bit of guidance, but we have those back in now, and their captains back, so hopefully they'll start getting back on track. It's a good game for them. Look, anyone, there's next couple of games, just put their hands up for whoever's going to try and make the Seconds Cup team. Our youth, I'm afraid, had a kind of poor weekend. 18s went out to a really good, a strong enough Mullingar side. But they're a very young. Our 18s are a very young side, playing very well, probably playing above themselves. You know, the young lads really stepping up to the plate. I think our 14s lost in the cup as well, and I don't think we hadn't any other real results on it. And quite enough weekends this weekend, but the youths will get back on track again. All games are this weekend seems to be quite a quiet weekend for games, so I think everybody's back on the horse for next weekend. But look, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. It's another day, and Saturday rugby is great, so get me Sunday off again, and looking forward to the Ireland game on Sunday.
Absolutely, plenty to keep us occupied Gentlemen, thanks for joining us on the show again this week. James Blanchfield, Tom Crotty, Kilkenny and Carlow clubs respectively. Paddy will be back with us next week. Good luck the weekend and all the games, and enjoy the Six Nations, as Tom said. Chat to you next week.